Mzansi, and welcome to African Farming. Solomon Masango is no newcomer to farming. His success has inspired many emerging and aspiring farmers, and we are lucky enough to soak up all of his wisdom and learn from his experience. Let's go meet him.
Born and raised on a farm, Solomon Masango has agriculture in his blood. He found his calling farming with maize, soya and cattle in the Carolina district. It hasn't always been smooth sailing, but years of hard work and dedication have led to success and recognition. In 2015, Solomon was named the Grain SA ABSA John Deere Financial New Era Farmer of the Year, an award which was accompanied by a John Deere tractor as prize. Solomon readily shares his knowledge and experience with other farmers, and many seek him out from far and wide to learn from him.
But Solomon, you grew up on a farm with your mother, who had to play the role of both mom and dad because your father had passed on. Now, do you think that your ethics when it comes to hard work and dedication comes from her?
For sure, it comes from her because anyway, since I was born until I grown up, she was one who was being capable, looking after me and then teaching me. And then I was getting all what I was supposed to get from both parents.
Now, you were in the mining industry and then you went into the taxi industry, but then you managed to find your way back to farming. What does farming mean to you?
Oh, a business, a real business, the big one. Because what I'm doing in the farm, I invest just for a period of 6 months, then I get earning.
Opportunity for growth.
Yes.
Yes.
Solomon started farming on communal land, which comes with the advantage of shared resources and shared knowledge. Unfortunately, due to disputes, he had to look for new land to lease and start over.
All right, now how do you convert that negative energy into something positive and help you grow as a farmer and also as a Solomon?
Just because I know one thing, no human being can stop my dream. It's only God who can do that.
Now, you host regularly Farmers' Days where you are mentoring other farmers. Why is that important to you?
You know, you used to learn more things from other people's mistakes. Like if I'm having, for myself, I know exactly where I'm from and where I'm going. So there are some of the challenges which I haven't saw before, but when you get it from other farmers where you apply mentorship, then you give yourself a practice how to deal with it when it comes to you.
How many children do you have, but Solomon?
Presently, I'm having 4 kids. There's 3 daughters and 1 boy. My firstborn, she's a girl. She's 24 years of age. The second one is the one I work with her. And then thirdly is a boy. He is at the age of 18. And then the last one, she's 14 years, also a daughter.
How involved is your daughter in the operations here?
Oh, my daughter, she's very interesting. But it was difficult to get a hold of her in the business. But what I like from her, whatever we do, everything we do, he's having that desire to get well known of it. Like now, I think you have saw her, he's driving a big truck at the age of 21 years. Being a daughter is not easier.
She is just 21 and it sounds like she is running this farm.
For sure.
Wow, that's amazing. Now I see where she gets the hard work and dedication from. I cannot wait to go and meet her. Let's go.
My father is a very strict person, but always he wants to do the work as it is. Ukulima naku siyasebenzisana, ungifundisile about financials, ukusave imali nokusebenzisa imali, ukuspenda ukuthi ngingaspendi kakhulu ezintweni ezingangisi phambili. No, we don't always agree on one thing. We sit down and discuss things and I show him my point of view, then he will tell me because he have much experience more than I do, then he will explain to me, then I understand and will agree. I'm very grateful for having this kind of a father because I'm not partying. I'm always at home. In the future, I want us to work together for about, I think, maybe for 5 years. Then I will start my own.
Passion is the spark that ignites a farming dream, but hard work is the fire that burns it into reality. When we come back, we'll learn more about how all of that hard work has turned this enterprise into what it is today. Zanzi, welcome back to African Farming. We are visiting Solomon Masango in the Carolina district in Mpumalanga, where his core focus is cattle and maize production.
Besides himself and his daughter, Solomon has a very small team of workers and he's very hands-on with all the farming tasks, even when it comes to fertilizers.
Now, I want to touch on your fertilizer. What type of fertilizer do you use here on your crops?
Lindy, what I used to do, I used to take the soil sample. And then the soil sample is the one which directs me which fertilizer must I use. Like now, the fertilizer I use for my maize, I take the soil sample, I work it out, and then I go straight to the supplier, to the people who manufacture the fertilizer. I place an order, I tell them exactly what percentage I need on nitrogen, on K, and so on and so on. And I'm getting a very good yield.
Oh, nice. How often do you spray and when?
Normally on maize, I spray twice. I spray right after the planter because I'm not working my soil. I'm using no-till. So all this stuff which is lying here, sometimes when we plant, there is a new wheat which is already germinated. So I apply a Roundup as well as a pre-image chemicals right after the planter. So that's why I'm applying my chemicals 2 times. First of all, there is nothing. There is an old wheat which I'm killing. Secondly, I prevent the weeds for another 4 weeks, which is gonna make 2 months. As you know that the plants we plant is 3 months germinating. Then on the 3rd month, there is no need for the spray because the leaves has covered the whole ground.
Okay.
So for the new weeds to germinate, it's difficult. It doesn't germinate if they can see the sun.
Of course. Now, how would you describe growth and your development as a farmer on this land?
When I start working here, it was not like this. Some of this land, like especially this land, was like a grazing land. So it was difficult to change them up to this stage. You need to grow yourself. It's possible. The biggest challenge is the hail itself and the drought, sometimes and the fire. And then, as you know, we've got some thieves. But anyway, I can't stop doing my business just because of them. So sometimes it needs me to put them in budget. When I plant a little bit more.
Now that is planning, and planning is good for a farm. I mean,
Yes.
you've diversified here.
Yeah.
You've got the soya, you've got the maize, you've got the cattle, and then there's the input supply side of things. And planning is very vital, right?
For sure, for sure.
Mechanization is quite a sizable investment. How have you been able to afford your machinery and implements?
It was difficult for the beginning, but I've managed. My first tractor, I bought it with my money. The second tractor, it was for my first yield. And then I keep on doing that until 2015, where I was in a competition with Grain SA, is where I won myself the first new tractor. What I used to do always, if I'm having a profit in what I'm doing, I take my profit and invest it back to the business. So each and every year, I'm trying to grow myself.
Yes.
I'm not standing on a one and the same place. Because what is more important, with the new machinery, the breakdown are lesser and you manage to save the time.
That's very true. Now I'd like to go see your cattle. Shall we go?
Yes, we can.
But Solomon, what breed of cattle is this?
I'm still having a mixed breeding cattle. So the previous season, I've bought some 4 Bonsmara bulls which have made the job here, and then I'm expecting to get only the Bonsmara calves this season.
What do you like about Bonsmara?
No, it's money. They are looking very nice, and then like here I'm providing the winners to Beefco. Even in the fencing, they are not like Brahman and other things. Brahman like to break fence, and then the Bonsmaras, they are very cool. They are very nice. That's why I've decided to turn all my livestock to Bonsmaras.
Running a maize farm and the cattle farm, obviously you need the different skills. Maybe you can talk to me about that.
Yes, for sure, you need it, because it's two different types of business. In livestock, you need to know how to manage them, because there is sometimes where you need to change the feeds, the leaks. There is the winter leaks and the summer leaks, and then you have to control the ticks and the other sickness. So it needs some time as well. I was not too much in livestock, but I've realized at the later stage that after harvesting my maize, the remaining crop is the feed for the livestock. And then it also helped me, because when the planting season comes, some of those stuff, if you haven't picked them up, and then it's giving a problem, and then it takes some of our time in planting. So now each one is balancing each other.
So now where do you get your water from? Because I understand you don't have water rights.
Here I'm just using a very little of water, because the water I use is few liters, which is taken by my livestock when they want to drink. And then the others is the water which I use from October until January, when I apply the chemicals on my crop. So normally when we start planting, we don't need so much rain, because it gives us a problem. We get stuck on the land if it's too wet. But the more rain we need is from January, because January the maize is starting to bring out the seeds, and then is where they need more water. So if they take water and the sun and the fertilizer which we have supplied to the plant, is where we expect the yield, and is where our profit coming from.
But Solomon, I know that you've already achieved so much, but you want more. What is your ultimate farming dream?
Eqinisweni lonke, uma ngiqala ukulima ngangizimisela ukuthi ngifuna ukuyibona ngingumlimi omkhulu, nginemali eningi. But njengamanje ekuhambeni kwamalanga sengiyabona ukuthi imali ayina value. Into engingathandazela ukuthi ngiyibone iphumelele ekugcineni, ukuthi ngiyibone ngitshale abalimi abaningi abaphumelelako.
Oh, well done. To your growth, cheers to that.
Cheers.
It's been years of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. But when you embrace your partnership with the land, there's no greater joy. When we come back, we'll hear from our experts in studio on how to grow our own farming enterprises. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Mzansi, to African Farming. In spending time with farmer Solomon Masango, I was reminded about the value of adaptability in dealing with change and challenges. He also reaffirmed how there is nothing that can replace hard work. I'm sure our in-studio experts will also agree. And as usual, they are here to give us advice and share their expertise on how to make all that hard work pay off. Welcome, everyone. In studio, we have Praveen Dwarika from Lemang.
Thank you, Lindy. Good to be here.
Thank you for being here. Kinelo Nailana from Standard Bank.
Thank you, Lindy.
Admire Mutsvairo from John Deere.
Thank you, Lindy. Good to be here.
And Craig Leroux from Place Central. Your very first time. How does it feel?
Thank you, Lindy. It's nice to meet all you guys, and it's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, and thank you all for making the time. I'm going to start with you, Praveen, because this story is one that is close to home, and it's a special one because Solomon has been with Lemang for a very long time. Now, tell us about that journey.
Absolutely, Lindy. Solomon is what we classify a living legend in Lemang's books. We've been in partnership with him since the start of his farming journey. And reflecting on his journey, as you've had the opportunity to do, one can only tip your hat off to the success that he's had. But all of that has come from a deep-seated passion for farming. Giving up the careers that he's had in the past before going on his journey, that certainly testifies to the passion that he had in doing this. And if you look at the role that Lemang played in his journey, yes, we contributed a lot to it insofar as agronomy services, insofar as technical advice, our agriculturalists spending a lot of time on his farm, guiding him through the processes. But what we found is his passion and his desire to be involved in the process. Not the type of person who wants to sit back, take the advice, and get somebody to do the work for him. He loves getting his hands dirty, as you saw yourself. He's the type of guy that really, he feels what he does. And I think that's the type of farmer we wanted Solomon to turn out to be when we started off in the journey. And I think together we've really managed to achieve that. But more than that, it's what he gives back to the farming sector is what we're particularly proud of. He makes such a contribution in his own farm insofar as food security is concerned, but the knowledge that he exchanges and shares freely with other farmers is something that we really respect him for.
You know, on our trips to these farmers, they all talk about passion, that you really do need passion to do this.
Yeah.
And Solomon, we saw that.
Absolutely.
We saw that in him.
Absolutely.
Now, Craig, in the previous episode, we spoke to your colleague Ellen about the importance of aligning yourself with a reputable auction house. Now, personally, I've never been to an auction and I would love to go. So I'm hoping you can invite me. And
Definitely soon.
Now, tell me, what actually happens when you're there the day before and also on the day? What are the processes?
Well, it depends, Lindy. There's different types of sales. On our bigger caliber, high prestige sales, we start doing marketing and preparations from, let's say, anything between 6 to 8 weeks before the day of the sale. On the normal sales, our weekly sales, our slaughter sales as we call them, a day before the sale, we do our preparations, we get the trucks loaded, the animals loaded onto the trucks at the kraal, at the auction venue, put our lot numbers on, and we sort out the animals to see what fits into what lots. So the bigger sales, yes, much more pressure, a lot of hard work goes in from admin, catalogs, animal information to the day of the sale. So there's a lot of preparation that goes in before the sale on our bigger sales. We try and help our sellers to market their animals. We do a lot of marketing on the online side as well. We've got an online platform, so we do a lot of online marketing as well. On our website, we do a lot of marketing there, and we try and advise our buyers, our sellers, when to sell, when's the right time to sell, when's the right time to wean their weaners to bring to the sale, to sell them to get the right price.
Give me an example of what happens. Say I come in, there's a nice nguni there next to you. Give me an example.
Well, let's say my seller's brought the nguni bull to the sale, and I've got 4 lovely buyers sitting here that's going to bid on this bull. Let's say, for example, the reserve price is 20,000. We'll start it off at 15,000. So let's go 15,000 now for a start. 15. Thank you. 5 there. Thank you, sir. 16,000. You get a bid against 16. Now bidding 17. 17,000. Now to get a bid against 17. 18,000. 19. 19 there. That's guys bidding very quickly. 20,000. At 20,000. There's my bid all through and done. Knocked down on 20,000.
And sold to Ellen LaRue.
Sold.
That was impressive. I love it.
Thank you.
Don't you guys think it was impressive?
But I will invite you to come see me live.
I cannot wait.
Yes. Excellent.
All right, now let's move on. Admire. I'm moving on to you now. Solomon got his first John Deere tractor as a prize, and that was very, very special. And now he also spoke about the importance of record keeping, especially when he is planning. Now, let's talk more about that.
Well, Lindy, accurate record keeping is very essential for you to be able to be a sustainable farmer in future. What happens today will impact how you respond in future. That will also ensure that you utilize your equipment. Your equipment is fully utilized. Having said that, I want us to look at planting. The farmer has got only one opportunity to do it right, and that is at the time that he's planting. So the equipment needs to be set up with the right information that would have been recorded accurately, and he will be able to set it up in such a way that he can be able to maximize on his yield. If we talk about application equipment, same applies. It needs to be set up to ensure that the application is accurate and results in yield that are maximized.
Planning for equipment is vital.
That's correct. Planning for equipment is very vital, both on your current fleet as well as any future plans that you have to acquire any new equipment. If I look at the current fleet that you have, I think service and maintenance, you are provided with a guidance on how you need to service it and how you need to maintain it. So you need to be able to plan when you're going to be able to service it and when you're going to be able to prepare it, especially if you know exactly when your next farming operations is going to be. You need to make it ready so that it can be fully operational the entire period, that reducing also your downtime. If I look at purchasing new equipment, it's not just buying, like going to the grocery shop, you pick up a loaf of bread, but you need to be able to plan when you need to buy the equipment, when your next operation is required, as well as what exactly do you want out of your equipment. Through the guidance of our dealers, of course, they'll be able to provide you with information that can help you to be able to say, this is the right equipment, the right machine that you need at that time.
Ginelwe, you always talk about the importance of planning. Now, Admire just touched on the importance of record keeping as well. Now, what is the importance of that when a farmer is applying for credit?
Lindy, I do think farmers wonder what are banks looking for, what do they want when they assess an application. So in the nutshell, we look at the 5 C's of credit. What is that? It's the character. Who are we lending the money to, right? What is the credit history? How have they managed their previous debt? And also, how are they managing their business? The second one is capacity. It talks more about the repayment ability because the business should be able to repay that debt. We're not looking for the farmer to repay the debt out of their salary. Then also capital. What is your own contribution, right, to the business? Because you have to have your own skin in the game. Then comes conditions. It can be conditions of the loan itself or business and economic conditions. Then we also look at collateral, which we also call security, because it's more of an asset that is pledged for the loan. And what is important with the asset is about the value and the ease to liquidate that asset. And please remember, liquidating an asset is an absolute last resort. So those are the most important things that you must make sure that you understand them and what they mean for your business before you approach a bank.
All right, let's get some closing remarks as we conclude this episode. Let's start with you, Praveen.
Passion and dedication, a lot of hard work. That's what it's going to take for farming success.
Nice. Admire, what's your advice?
For effective decision making, a farmer requires accurate information through record keeping and planning for the future.
Ginelwe?
Consider the 5 C's in your preparations before approaching the bank.
Craig, what about you?
From Flies and Troll side, hard work pays off. What you put in, you'll get out.
Nice. Thank you everyone for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us. And thank you to Farmer Solomon Masango. A farmer's work is never done, and we have such appreciation for the time you took in showing us your operation. We wish you every farming success. And you at home, don't forget that you can engage with us on our social media platforms via #AfricanFarming. And you can also visit our website, africanfarming.com. And do remember, Mzansi, we farm better together.